In a time when survival was the primary concern, when daily life revolved around hunting and gathering, our ancestors found time to create. They shaped stone, bone, and clay into forms that transcended their immediate needs, forms that spoke of something deeper, something eternal. These creations, these prehistoric sculptures, are our first glimpses into the human soul. In the Paleolithic period, sculptures are categorized into two types: freestanding sculptures, or in the round, which are fully formed and can be viewed from all angles, and relief sculptures, where the images emerge from a background and are usually meant to be viewed from one side. Among the most iconic of these ancient sculptures are the Venus figurines, small and portable, yet powerful representations of the female form, carved tens of thousands of years ago. Over 200 such figurines have been discovered, all modest in size, ranging from 1.2 to 15.7 inches in height. Given the high mortality rates among women and children during childbirth, it might have been essential to immortalize these traits in a goddess figure. With exaggerated features, these figures are believed to symbolize fertility, abundance, and the continuity of life. Their small size allowed them to be carried across vast distances, and they were cherished and revered, embodying the hopes and fears of early human societies. One of the most renowned examples of freestanding prehistoric sculpture is the so-called Venus of Willendorf, estimated to have been created around 29,500 years ago. Discovered in 1908 near Willendorf, a village in Lower Austria, this 4.5-inch tall figurine is carved from oolitic limestone not local to the area and tinted with red ochre, suggesting that it was highly valued and perhaps traded or carried over long distances. The closest likely source of this limestone is near Lake Garda in northern Italy, although it could have come from as far away as eastern Ukraine, raising fascinating questions about the mobility and trade networks of ancient populations. The term Venus figurine is metaphorical, as these sculptures predate the mythological figure of Venus by thousands of years. The label reflects the 19th and early 20th century biases and prejudgments of the discoverers at that time. However, some scholars prefer to call the statuette the Woman of Willendorf, recognizing that its true meaning and significance remain a subject of speculation. While Venus was the Roman goddess of love and beauty, applying this interpretation to a sculpture created tens of thousands of years earlier is problematic. Scholars are unsure whether this ancient work had any connection to the concepts of love or beauty as embodied by the Roman goddess. The Woman of Willendorf, like other similar figurines, lacks visible feet and may never have been intended to stand on its own. Instead, it might have been pegged into soft ground or carried as a talisman. The emphasis on body parts associated with fertility and childbearing has led researchers to propose that these figures may have served as fertility symbols or perhaps representations of a great mother goddess. Interestingly, the Woman of Willendorf has no discernible facial features. Her head is covered with circular horizontal bands that might represent plaited hair or a type of headdress. Some scholars hypothesize that these figurines were self-portraits created by women, with the proportions reflecting how their bodies would appear when viewed from above, the only perspective available without mirrors. However, this theory is debated, as natural reflections in water could have provided an alternative way to view oneself. Some scholars now think that hunter-gatherers, when encountering other groups, would offer these sculptures as signs of recognition. Relief sculptures are the other major category of Paleolithic sculpture. In these works, the image emerges from a background, often a rock wall, and casts a shadow, inviting contemplation from a specific angle. A striking example is the Venus of Lascelles, a 25,000-year-old limestone bas-relief measuring 18 inches in height. This sculpture depicts a nude woman holding a bison horn, painted with red ochre and carved into a rock. The color and the notches on the horn may symbolize the lunar cycles, the number of menstrual cycles in a year, or the days between menstruation and ovulation. Another significant find is the Venus of Hohlefels, discovered in Germany and dated to between 42,000 and 40,000 years ago. Made of mammoth ivory and standing at just 2.36 inches tall, this figurine is one of the oldest known examples of this type of art. Interestingly, in place of a head, it has a perforated protrusion which may have allowed it to be worn as an amulet. Because the sexual characteristics of the figurine were depicted with such great care, scholars suggest that figurines were not depictions of beauty but representations of hope for survival and longevity within well-nourished and reproductively successful communities, reinforcing the conventional interpretation of these figures as fertility symbols. This figurine was found in the cave hall approximately 66 feet from the entrance and 10 feet below the current ground level. Nearby, another remarkable find, a bone flute dating to approximately 42,000 years ago, the oldest known uncontested musical instrument. The Venus of Bresampuy, discovered in a cave in France in 1894, is another fascinating example. Dated to around 25,000 years ago and made of mammoth ivory, this figurine stands at just 1.5 inches tall. It's one of the earliest known realistic representations of a human face. The head features a checkerboard-like pattern formed by shallow incisions, which has been interpreted as a wig or a hood with geometric decoration, or simply hairstyled in cornrows. Not all prehistoric sculptures were rooted in the human form. The Lion Man, a 40,000-year-old ivory figure found in a German cave, is one of the oldest known examples of artistic representation and the oldest confirmed statue ever discovered. Truly huge for its time period and standing at 12.2 inches tall, this sculpture combines the body of a man with the head of a lion, suggesting that our ancestors envisioned worlds where the lines between man, beast, and spirit blurred into myth and mystery. Early man was now using imagination to have a conversation with the world that was observed and felt. The carving, made from hard mammoth ivory using a flint stone knife, was a complex and time-consuming task. Modern scientists replicated the carving process using stone tools similar to those available during the Paleolithic era. Removing the base of the tusk alone took 10 hours. Shaping the figurine is estimated to have required around 200 hours, with the entire recreation process likely exceeding 370 hours. Such an investment of time and effort would have been immense, considering that these resources would typically be devoted to essential survival tasks, like foraging for food, maintaining a fire, and protecting loved ones from predators. Deep within the caverns of France, hidden from the light of day, lies one of the largest known Paleolithic sculptures, the Bison of Le Tuc d'Odobert, crafted from clay over 14,000 years ago. This pair of bison, approximately 2 feet long and 18 inches high, captures not only the likeness, but the very essence of these majestic animals. The meticulous detail and lifelike contours reflect a profound connection between the artist and the natural world, demonstrating a deep reverence for life itself. These sculptures are located in a remote cave chamber that requires navigating through narrow passages and crouching for many hundreds of yards. The unbaked clay figures are remarkable for their intricate details and for preserving the artist's fingerprints visible around the face where the sculptor used their hands to model the features. The larger bull bison is positioned behind a cow, with both figures showing clear evidence of hand molding and tool work. The cow's tail, now broken off, was raised in a posture indicative of mating, a behavior observed in European bison around September just before winter. This raises the intriguing possibility that the sculptures may have been created to mark a seasonal event or ceremonial occasion. These sculptures, whether of human figures, mythical beings, or powerful animals, reflect the creativity, spirituality, and deep connection to the natural world that characterized the lives of our prehistoric ancestors. Through them, we glimpse not only their world, but also the beginnings of art, symbolism, and perhaps even religion. elements that continue to shape human culture to this day.